This is Cyclone Dana that has made a landfall in Odisha and Bengal, specifically in Odisha, where the landfall has happened. 20 kilometers that has come in from the Dhamra area. It's progressing west-northwest toward northern Odisha. We are told severe damage has been reported in Bhadrak and in Dhamra areas, and trees that have fallen, structural damage. Now, as a precaution, of course, evacuations have been done. Precautionary measures also mean schools, educational institutions will be affected. It's not the cyclone as much, remember, but also the gusty winds that come throughout that region across it, and also the rainfall that has been going on for hours. Both Odisha Chief Minister Mohan, Charan and Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee are actively monitoring the situation.
It's very difficult to stand here as the wind speed is around 100 to 110 kilometers, gusting to 120 kilometers, and rain is also happening here. And let me tell you, the landfall process is continuing at the moment at Dhamra, and I am at Dhamra, and you can see conditions behind me here, and right now the tail of the storm, the rear portion of the storm is passing through this region. There are three sections of a storm. Front section had already entered at around 11:30 in the night, and then eye of the storm that has already passed, and this is the rear portion, the tail of the storm, which is passing, and it will continue. The landfall process will continue till 1 to 2 hours. After that, it will gradually weaken into a cyclonic storm. Right now, it is a severe cyclonic storm, and so far the news we are getting that several trees have been uprooted, several lampposts, several signboards have been uprooted in Bhadrak city, in Dhamra, in Bhitarkanika, and in several coastal areas.
We are on the coastal areas of West Bengal, in Digha, East Midnapur. This is a popular tourist spot. The promenade, of course, is completely empty today. All the hotels in Digha have been evacuated, and tourists were told in the last 48 hours to leave this tourist town. Last night was very, very choppy. You can see even the sea condition right now is extremely choppy. I'll ask Sataki to show very heavy winds right now. It's drizzling. Sometimes the rainfall is very, very heavy. Extremely overcast conditions. This is going to continue all through the day. As the IMD has said, 11:30 last night is when the landfall process began, and since then it was about to take place for 4 to 5 hours constantly. So major part of the landfall is over on the Odisha-Bengal coast, mostly through Odisha, but Bengal, of course, is also bearing the brunt of Cyclone Dana across South Bengal districts. Today, we would see very heavy rainfall, and this is not just in East Midnapur district, which is going to have more impact, but also in South 24 Pargana and North 24 Pargana districts, and of course Kolkata. Till about 9 a.m. this morning, airport operations have remained suspended at the Kolkata airport, and there are some restrictions in the suburban railway run by the Eastern Railway in the city. But as you see, it's clearly visible that the sea condition is extremely choppy. There is a concern that in low-lying areas there might be some amount of high tide. In Kolkata there might be some amount of flooding in certain low-lying areas. So these are the concerns. It's 1 o'clock at night, and Cyclone Dana has begun to make its landfall. It's been confirmed by the Indian Meteorological Department. At around 11:30 at night, the cyclone process began the landfall at the Odisha coast near the Dhamra port, and we are here in the West Bengal coastline at Digha in East Midnapur, and you can see the sea condition extremely choppy as the landfall process has begun on the entire eastern coastal region between Bengal and Odisha. According to the IMD, the cyclone was about 50 kilometers away from the Odisha coast when the landfall process began, and the IMD claims that the entire process will take the whole of tonight until 25th October morning, when the process will come to an end. So very, very choppy sea conditions right now on the eastern coast right now, and accompanied by very heavy winds. 100 to 110 kilometers per hour is what the IMD has predicted, with gusting winds going up to 120 kilometers per hour is what is expected. Severe precautions have been taken by the Odisha as well as the Bengal government in light of the landfall of the cyclone, and one will only be able to assess damages, if any, in the morning when the sunlight comes out.
Now it is about 15 kilometers north of Dhamra and 30 kilometers northwest of Habelighatti camp, that is in Bhitarkanika. And now the current intensity is severe cyclonic storm and wind speed is about 100 to 110 km per hour, gusting to 120 km per hour. And the landfall process would continue for next 1 to 2 hours. It is likely to move nearly west-northwestward across North Odisha and weaken gradually into a cyclonic storm.
So the Honorable Chief Minister reviewed the cyclone arrangements and assessed the situation. The landfall is supposed to happen anytime between 1 to 6 p.m. in Kendrapada district. People have been evacuated and taken to cyclone shelters where cooked meal is being provided and other arrangements have been made. And large number of our road draft teams, relief teams, teams with equipment to ensure that roads are open, electricity is restored, telecommunication is restored for tomorrow have all also been activated.
शासन का जो भी डायरेक्टिव है उसको थोड़ा मान के चलिए, ज़्यादा वेंचर सी में कोई ना करे। अभी सी अभी भी अशांत है, उतना ज़्यादा शांति नहीं है, तो जो नाव हो फिशरमैन वो लोग वेंचर ना करे सी में। और लोगों को भी एडवाइजरी दिया गया है कि बारिश में ज़्यादा ना निकले, अपना घर को सुरक्षित रखें, अपने बच्चे और बूढ़ों को और जो भी वल्नरेबल है उनको सुरक्षित रखें।
So what is the morning looking like specifically for Odisha? I want to go across on the ground now. Joining me, my colleague Anupam Mishra with Shyam, who's the video journalist. They're on the ground in Dhamra. Anupam, what is the situation like? Is it still raining? What are the gusty winds like? And be careful because these are, of course, very dangerous, risky locations as well.
Well, Pooja, it's still raining heavily at Dhamra, and let me show you the visuals here. You can see it's raining heavily at Dhamra, and we are getting report from Bhitarkanika also that it's raining heavily over there. But a sigh of relief that Bhubaneswar, Puri and other parts of Odisha are not facing heavy rainfall at present, and the flight operations have already been resumed at Bhubaneswar Airport and as well as Kolkata Airport. And the wind speed is also decreasing because we know that the tail of the storm has already passed in these areas, and the severe cyclone is weakening into a cyclonic storm at present, and the wind speed is, I think, around 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, gusting to 70 kilometers per hour at this time. But it will decrease as the day will pass on, and we hope that, according to Met Department, around noon or after or around evening, the wind speed will decrease and people will be able to move out. So there is a sigh of relief, and according to Odisha government, around 5 lakh people have been evacuated from the coastal areas and no casualties happened. And this is a big success for Odisha government, the way they did the operations, and this shows that they have developed the policy very well and they are executing it very well. So there is no casualty, a sigh of relief, and there is no big destruction so far. We are not getting
Anupam,
any report
you
of
have
big
to mention that. That's
also
very important because I've also reported cyclone failure, and I think it was in 2013. The kind of pattern that Odisha has experienced with cyclones and natural disasters, it's immense. It's actually incredible how they put everything in place, and whether it's evacuation or precautionary measures to ensure that the casualties are at lowest. And this is, remember, over the years, irrespective of the governments, that has happened in Odisha. So a word of appreciation there. Thank you very much. We'll be tracking all the latest. Structural damage has been reported, but eventually it's also about human lives that are being saved in this. Anupam and Shyam, stay safe, and I'll come back to you in a short while on that. Thank you very much.